Hello everyone, this is Rahul Pawar, and in today's video we are going to talk about Tableau interview scenarios. So if you are someone who is attending interview, or if you are someone who are planning to attend interviews, and these scenarios are something that you should definitely practice on, because these are the most frequently asked scenarios, or these are scenarios that have been asked multiple times in different companies. So without wasting much time, let us get started and let us see what are the different scenarios we have. And while doing so, if you're new to my channel, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. So to start off with, one important question that we should definitely know is how to add total to a bar chart. Now, many times in real time, it happens that we might create a stacked bar chart, okay, but client might also need a total on top of that. Okay, so if I go and show you, this is what I'm expecting, or this is what client wants in the report. So see here, we have a stacked bar chart which is representing the sales of each category, and it is stacked with respect to color. So for each region, how much of sales are there, and for each category, that is what it's showing. But along with that, he also need this a total. How can we do that? So to do that, what we can do is I'm just creating my view here, and I'm taking category, and I'm dropping my region on color. So simple stacked bar chart we have created. Now if I take sales and add it to label, this is something a stacked bar chart is created. Now we want to add a total to this. So simple option is right here, click on your axis and you will see add a reference line. Click on that, and here just the scope of it, make it to per cell. You got it here. So here we need to select, instead of average, you need to select a total, and under the label, you need to select the value. So after that, if you do basic formatting, you will get it, or you can get it in the desired format. Like say, I'll just click on this and format. I want label to be like this, something like this, and maybe in the center. Sorry, I'll keep it something like this. Yep. So like the way user want it, you can put it and you can display it on the dashboard. Something that we definitely or very frequently use in real time. Okay, so you definitely need to know this. Along with this, if you can write a SQL for the uh, stacked bar chart that we have created, would be very highly profitable for you in the interview. Like say here, we are creating the stacked bar chart, right? So if you are capable enough to create or write a SQL on top of this, like assuming what would be the SQL for this, then that will give an interviewer a very good impression that you are able to understand the SQL that is being generated in this or for this chart. So comment in the comment section and let us see how many of you will be able to get the correct SQL for this. Okay. So next question is how sheet swap is done using parameter. Now this is one of the very commonly implemented scenario in a real time. Okay, so you will see lot of times or that this scenario comes into picture in real time. So for that, I'm simply creating uh maybe I'll make it simple. This one, I'll just create a bar chart, and this I'm just converting into line chart. Okay, and I'll remove all of that is not needed. We'll just keep it as is, or maybe I'll just select any other chart from here, maybe from show me a pie chart. I'll select. Okay, now I'm just, after creating two different charts, I'm naming this as bar chart, and second one I'm naming it as pie chart here, and then I'm creating a parameter. Click on this and name it. I'm writing it as select chart. Like that, you can write whatever you want. Here I'm taking this simple situation, simple scenario. You can write, I have two values. So I'm just writing two values in the list here, and I'm displaying it as bar chart and pie chart. Click OK. Okay, so our parameter is ready. Our chart is ready. Now we simply need to write a calculation for that. So what I'm doing is here, I'm showing this parameter, and then I'm writing a calculation for this, and I'm just calling that parameter here. Click on apply, OK, and I'll just take this to the filter shelf. Maybe I need to convert that. Sorry, where is our calculation here? I'll simply select this, apply, OK, and same likewise, I'll go here, drop this, and if you are using the latest versions of parameter, I know this might not work. You might have to just use a custom option from the filter list whenever you are dropping, and you need to select it manually, and then it will work. Here for me, I'm directly getting, but it might not work when you go and add it to the dashboard. So try that way. So once your calculation is ready, I'm just going to dashboard and maybe just selecting this, and I'll drop my two worksheets here using shift button, and likewise pie chart also. Now if I select pie chart, it is showing pie chart, bar chart, it is showing bar chart. That way we can use sheet swapping in a real time as well. So we might need little more formatting to look as if it is the same sheet that is doing this. Okay, so practice this with a more different scenarios, so you'll become perfect, but you should definitely know this. Next is difference between context filter and cascading filter. Again, this question is asked multiple times in multiple companies at multiple levels. So this is something that you should definitely know, and many get confused between cascading and context filter. So let us see that, and create I'm going to take a region here. Okay, and I'm going to take sales for now, and I'm just dropping region here to filter shelf. I got this, fine. Now what I'm doing is I'm simply writing a calculation to categorize my region into zones. Okay, so I'm calling, like, say, case of region. Maybe you can try to write it in a different format. You can use if function and see if you are able to write it same way. That way it increases your practice. If, sorry, case of this, when it is central, I want that to be zone 1. When it is when it is east, then it should be zone 2. Else it is zone 3, and I'm ending it. Okay, so 4 regions are there. I'm categorizing that into 3 zones. I'm applying that, and I'll just take this and I will drop it here to make sure it is working. Fine. Now I'm taking this zone also to my filter shelf. Okay, but according to the client requirement, assume I have only single select option on my zone. So I'm just changing that option to single value list here. Now, if I select all, I'm getting all fine. So if I select zone 1, my view is getting filtered here. This point understand and remember, when I'm selecting zone 2, it is giving me zone 2 fine. Zone 3, zone 3 fine. But observe this region values here. It is not getting updated according to my first filter that I have chosen. So this will happen many times in real time because we will be having multiple filters in place in dashboard. So it is our responsibility to show only what is relevant, right? So what we need to do, just click on this and click on only relevant values. Now automatically based on my selection from my previous parameter, sorry, previous filter, the second will also get updated. See, so now our view is also getting updated and this is also getting updated. This is your cascading filter. Okay, so context filter is something that works on top of your another filter, and so for that what I'm doing is I'm taking subcategory here and I'm taking sales. I'll drop it here. Now I want top 3 subcategory items. So what I'll do, I'll take subcategory, drop it here, and I'll go to this by field top 3 items. Okay, now it is working, or maybe I can choose only top 2 items. So it is showing 2. Fine. So if I add a category here, okay, one is coming from furniture and one is coming from technology, but that is not my intention. For each of my category that I'm going to select, I want a filter to be applied on that category, and subcategory should calculate top 2 items from that. That is what I want. So I'm adding category to filter shelf now. So I'll just click on show filter. As usual, I'll have only single select option here. And when I'm selecting furniture, you see I'm getting only one, which is incorrect. Now, when I'm applying this filter called as furniture, I want this filter to be applied first. Then whatever the result is coming out from this category, this subcategory filter of top 2 should be applied. That is my intention, and that is what technically correct. So what can we do? I'm just clicking on this and clicking on add to context. Now what happened? For your furniture category, it is displaying top 2 subcategory items. For your office supplies item, it is showing top 2 subcategory items. For your technology item, it is showing top 2 subcategory items. That is how it is working. Now, first this filter is applied, then your subcategory filter is applied. So filter on an already existing data. So a temporary table is created and then a filter is applied. This is your context filter. Okay, so I hope this point is very clear now. Now, whenever you get this question in real time or in future interviews, I hope you will answer it with a very effective manner. Next important is tell me different ways to use a parameter in Tableau. So see, Tableau parameter is one very important concept in when it comes to Tableau. I might use a parameter concept in a different way. You might use it in different way. As a Tableau developer, we should know what are the different ways we can use parameter for. One is simply in calculation, very basic purpose to use in calculation. Okay, we can use it in filter shelf. Okay, or we can use it in view. For say, like say dynamic views we can create using parameter that we can do. We can use it in top and bottom and during our top and bottom and calculations that we can do, and we can use it in a reference line like that. So you need to talk about what are the different, or we can use it for sheet swapping. Just now we have seen for all of these different purposes we can use parameters. So the more you tell, the more use cases you can talk about here, the better it will be for you in real time or in the interview. So next important is how can we remove all options from Tableau? Okay, so one very important and common question that is asked multiple times in many interviews. So I'm going here. I want to remove this all option basically. That is my intention. I can go here, go to customize, uncheck this show all button. That is gone. Now you can only select one item from that. That is how you can remove this. So how to get the current date and time in Tableau? Now here the slowly sometimes if interviewer wants to check your understanding on Tableau functions, he can ask this type of questions related to functions. Okay, so how can we get current date means today's date? How can I get? So there are two calculations related to that we can use. I'm just creating this and I'm writing it as a current date. We have today. Today is one function that will return today's date. So if I just take and drop it here, it will return today's date. If I just convert it into exact date, it will give us today's date. Same likewise, today's, I'm writing it as will return today's date. So second function that we have, which works very similarly is now. Now the difference is today will return today's date without timestamp. Now will return today's date with the timestamp. That is the only difference that we need to remember. And both are very important in real time. We might use it for multiple purposes. Okay. Next is difference between rank and index function. Again, one of the very commonly asked questions in many companies, and many get confused in this type of question. So what I'm doing is I'm just removing this. I'm taking subcategory here and I'm dropping sales on the label. I'm not sorting it purposely. Okay. So now if I just create index here, index will just return the number. Okay. So it will assign a number like it is like a row number for us. So I'll just take it and drop it here, maybe make it discrete here. I'm getting numbers here, irrespective of my sales order that is there. But if at all I want to give numbers according to my sales, then rank will come into picture. Okay. So whenever you are talking about rank, always remember what are the different types of rank function we have. So I'm just taking rank unique because I want to give unique rank to my sum of sales and decrease order. Something that you need to remember. Okay, what did I miss here? I missed quotes. Okay, so now I can just take this field and drop it here, make it discrete. Now see here, what is the first number here that we have? 3,30,000. This is the topmost number. Now if I try to sort it, you will see that this is same here. My index is still returning the same order. It doesn't change. But my rank number is being given based on the sales that I have. That is one difference that you need to remember and talk about. And along with that, you can talk about different rank functions available in Tableau. Okay, so there is a specific video that I have created for this. I'll just add that in the description box. Maybe you can definitely watch it. It is important and helpful as well. So now next question that was asked many times is, suppose my license expires today, will users be able to view dashboards or workbook? Which I published in the server earlier. Okay, so this type of question was asked to many of our subscribers. What will happen when my license expires, but my report is already published in the server? What will you do? So in that case, our status will become like unlicensed. Sorry for that. But users will be able to see the report which we have published, but we might lose the access, or locally we might not be able to connect, because it will ask us to renew the license, and also that will happen. But at server level it doesn't impact, because the report needs to be available. Next is, can we place an Excel file in shared location and use it to develop a report and refresh it in regular intervals? Yes, it is possible. We can use files in shared location like OneDrive or and all. We just need to now set up the path here. So I can go to Tableau here, and maybe if I go to more options, so here you will see this OneDrive option, or there should also be an option here in shared drive, SharePoint, something kind of like this. Using that, you can connect it to your shared drive or network drive, and once the file is refreshed, you can get the latest data. So that option is also there. Going back to Tableau here, what will be what will the following function return? So this type of question was asked in coding sessions in Tableau interview, maybe in your L2 session or sometimes in L1. What will It need not be left or right, but some questions related to functions might come in. So pay attention to the functions. So I've already created a dedicated videos to each function type that is available. Along with that, you can also write one more question here. What are the different functions available? Okay, so it's like if I categorize them, we have string functions, we have date functions, we have logical functions, we have number functions. So I highly recommend you that the functions that are available here, we should definitely know. So start in real time, this is what we will be using day in and day out very regularly. Okay, so practice on functions a lot. The more you practice, the more your life will be easier in real time. Okay, so if you're someone who wants your job to be secure, your job to be in a good state, then this is something that you need to focus on. And I've created a dedicated videos that you'll not find anywhere on YouTube. Just go and practice that. That should give you a very good understanding and a grip on the functions topic in Tableau. Next is, sometimes in interview they might ask you to create charts. Now that chart can be anything. It depends on interviewer's mood and all. Donut chart and funnel chart are something that are incommonly asked many times. And I think, I'm assuming you all know how we can create. And calendar chart is also something that might be asked here. Okay. So prepare for this charts, like say donut chart, funnel chart, tree map, heat map. All of this chart you should be aware of. We never know what kind of chart he might ask you to ask us to create during the the face-to-face interview, or during the screen sharing sessions. This type of question might come up. So, okay, so practice for charts. Okay, so do comment in the comment section if at all you want me to create a specific video or a dedicated video only on charts. I'll be glad to do that. Next is, how do you calculate YTD, MTD, and rolling 12? Now, these are some common calculations that are necessary for us to remember as a Tableau developer. How will you calculate YTD, MTD, and rolling 12? Or how will you calculate the sales for current year and previous year sales? In common, these are very commonly asked in questions in Tableau. Okay, so I think I've already created a dedicated videos for this as well, I'll definitely post that in the description box. Do watch it and do try to memorize the formula that we will be using to calculate this YTD and MTT. If not, the least is we should know what YTD means, year till date, month till date, or rolling 12, and what will happen in this type of calculations that you should be able to explain for sure. Any BI interview you are going, YTD, MTD, rolling 12 are common calculations that we write day in and day out. Okay, so I don't want you guys to struggle in interview and search for logic. I want you to understand it concept wise and try to frame the logic. Okay, so current year and previous year, again very common question that is asked and that is implemented many times in real time. Okay, so these two, maybe all of these are very important till here. Now how will you remove negative values from your measures here? How will you do that? Okay, so we have a function called as abs function that we can use to remove negative values. That is one thing that we can do. Okay, Uh, or suppose if at all you want to create a filter, how will you write a filter here? Okay, so can anyone guess and write the simple calculation here? Okay, so pause the video and try to write a filter to remove, uh, write, create a filter to remove negative values from your profit. Let us see how many of you will be able to write it. Do comment in the comment section. Let us see that. And if at all I want to create that, I can simply go to my Tableau here, and instead of my sales, I'll just remove this. Instead of sales, I'm taking profit here and drop it in here. So I have minus 17, minus 1100, two negative values I have. If I try to sort it, yeah, three negative values I have. I don't want these negative values to come. How can I do here? I'll write sum of profit greater than 0, then uh, true, else false. If I'm ending it here, I'll just take this and drop it on filter shelf and consider only true from here. Now we have only true values. That way we can do it here. Okay, so next is again very important in terms of real time as well. How can I create a dynamic reference line? Dynamic reference line means if at all I go here to our first chart or maybe second chart. Okay, I'll just select here, click on this, add reference line. Entire table, if I go, it is creating this average. But instead of that, if I put on the drop down, I can use parameters from here to make it dynamic. Like say create parameter. I'll just write okay, and I'll just put okay here, and value I want. Okay. Now if I go to parameter 4 and click on this show parameter, whatever the value that I enter here will come 7 lakh 42, right? If I write, we got a line here. That way we can make it dynamic here. Okay, so remember this point, it is very important. Write a calculation to take only profits. I think we have written here same that way only. So but you want, if at all you want to write consider only those profits which are greater than 0, you can customize that as well. So try to write that as well and comment it. Let us see how many of you will get that. Consider only positive profits while calculating total profits. Okay, so how can I do that? Let us try to write that. I'm just going to this. If my profit is greater than 0, then give me profit, else just return 0. Okay, and that's it. Now what will happen here when we'll try to test it? I'm just profit testing. So if you remember, if you see here, I'm not taking sum of profit here, I'm taking profit, which is a disaggregated measure. Okay, and we are going to test that. So I'm just going to clear this. I'm going to take order ID, because for each order I want to find out what is the profit we have made. So I'm just adding it here, and I'm making it disaggregate here, and going to analysis. Okay, and I'll make it discrete. Now see here, we have profits here. Negative profit is there, positive profit is there. Now same, if at all this negative values is there, whatever, it should be, it should become 0. That is what we have done here. So I'll just profit testing, I'll take and drop it here. Let us see what is the result we will get here. Now see what is happening. So positive profit, it is written in positive number. Whenever it is negative number, it is giving 0, which means we are considering only positive profits here. So wherever negative is there, it is returning 0. Wherever negative value is there, it is returning 0. -6, 0. -1, 0. Like that. So according to the requirement here, I'm only considering positive numbers and finding out the total. That is how we can do this here. Okay. So how will you handle nulls in real time? One of the very common question. This question is not only important in terms of interview, it is also important from the code standardization perspective, because no one will come and not tell you that write a code in a way that you can handle nulls. No, it is our responsibility as a Tableau developer or as an efficient Tableau developer to write a code which is sustainable and which is not breakable. So we should only think what is the correct code or the optimal code. So we can use Zn function in case you are getting any nulls, or we have if null and is null functions to play with the null values. So use this effectively in real time to make your code standardized. What is the check you will get? You will do to get the latest data in Tableau. So this question might be asked again many times in real time to check if you really know the understanding of how to get the latest data into Tableau. So the first check that we need to do is check that if latest, if refresh is completed or not. So if refresh is done successfully or not, that is the first check that you need to do. Second check is, if suppose if refresh is done, but still if you're not seeing the latest data, check what is the latest data that you have in your database. That is something that you definitely need to check. Suppose in my database, I have data for 30 April latest. Okay. And in my dashboard, it is showing 29 April, which means one date data is missing here. Now we either need to refresh, which means data refresh is not successfully completed. But assume if it is 30 April in your report as well, it indicates that both of them are updated. Now, what is the other check that we can do? We can make sure values are matching here. Okay. So like say your somehow sales at a particular level, you're trying to match at both levels. That indicates that both of them are up to date. But if it is not there, you need to refresh. If refresh failed, maybe manually you can rerun the job so that they get executed successfully. That is something that you need to do. Okay. Next is, what is difference between incremental and full refresh? Full refresh means every time you do, it will get the entire data, whereas incremental means it will only get new data. So basically it's like A minus B it will do. Okay, so remember this difference. It was asked to few of our subscribers. I think twice I heard this. How will you implement a row level security? Again, this was very frequently asked. I've created a dedicated video for this row level security that can be implemented in multiple ways. Do watch out that video. It is important not only from interview perspective but also from real time implementation perspective. So if you have, we have functions like say user filter where we can manually align, or we have is member function, is member of function that we can definitely use to do that, or we can use a table level approach if the number of users are more. Using that also we can do. Okay, so do check out that video. I'll be posting that in the description box as well. And I think that's it from my side in this video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I'll be making videos like this regularly and frequently. See you in the next video. Till then, bye bye and have a good day.